So hello, financial professionals. I'm Coach Jeremy Nason. I'm joined today with Alan Kifer. He is the MRFC Vice Chair, and Paul Wharf. He is the U.S. Board Treasurer and Co-Chair of the annual conference. And we're here to discuss the IARFC Annual Forum coming up April 23rd to the 25th in 2025. Guys, thank you for joining me today for this quick little session to kind of talk about the benefits of the forum. So you guys have been to some of these events in the past. What is some of the value you get from these in-person events?
Shall I jump in, Paul?
Absolutely, Al.
We're all students of our profession, and if we're not, who are we kidding? And this is one of those opportunities where you get to hang out with like-minded professionals from all across the United States and some of our international members and find out what's working well and what isn't. And that helps make you a much better servant to the client families you pick back home.
Absolutely. And your thoughts, Paul?
Alan, I couldn't agree more. I think the way that we're designing the forum is to be completely different than other venues that you go to. I mean, you're invited to, hundreds and probably a year to go to their certain forums. And what we want to provide is more of a targeted, less vendor type focused event, right? It's more, what can I grab? We always look for one or two nuggets to take back to be able to implement. And, we're looking for that silver bullet, and usually it's not there, but we're trying to find some of the speakers, some of the sponsors that are really different than where you'd find anything else. And it also gives the sponsors the ability to get in front of people in a more intimate environment, other than, a giant one like some of the others that are out there. So I think it's a very unique forum, and it's something that our deliverables were designed to really let you walk out of there with one or two nuggets to implement immediately.
So it's definitely more education focused than being sold, stuff from vendors, stuff, from the carriers, that kind of stuff. It's more education.
Yeah, it's not in part, but it's not a show up and throw up type of event, right? It's not where you just you come to the event, you get a ton of things on there, you go home with 5 new pens and a couple of anger management balls and leaves. That's not what it's really about. It's something a lot different for both sides, both the advisors and the sponsors is really what we're trying to capture.
Yeah, so it's a good deal for education, also networking. So what do you personally get from networking with others, especially RFC members and the board members who come?
What I found is the ability to reach out and make a call. I mean, he would be very surprised from, as Paul described it, the other national events that are carried on by other professional organizations, and they talk a good game, but when you reach out, they're too busy or they're unavailable. And that's not true at the Financial Forum. I mean, people make themselves available, and when they say, give me a call, shoot me an email, let's have a chat if I can be of help, they mean it. They're sincere. And frankly, they learn from it as well. It's an acknowledgement that it's a shared communication effort at both sides getting better. I found Jeremy, and Paul's right. It's not stuffy. It's very collegiate. It's very fun. People laugh and engage. It's strikingly different. And this year, for the first time since pre-COVID, the committee made a huge, I think, leap forward in holding the event in a city that holds a great sense of attraction to families. So people can not just come to this event, they can bring their family. And while they're attending the event, their families can be doing family things, and then they can carry on with them as well. It's just a huge positive.
Absolutely. It's exciting that the venue is actually close to the major theme parks in Orlando. For those, we didn't cover this, but the venue is actually the World Center Marriott in Orlando, Florida. It's close to all the major theme parks, Disney World, Epcot, Universal, SeaWorld. It's very close to the Orlando International Airport. So it's a very simple flight, drive, depending where you're coming from, and it's a family event. So it's one of those opportunities, growing up in this business. My dad was with MetLife, was a top producer. I've been to numerous sales conferences, president's clubs, that kind of stuff. And it's always these stuffy things, but some of the stuff has really been cool because it's always near a really cool venue. And to be able to bring your family, when I was 12, 13, going to Hawaii, going to San Francisco, and seeing, all these different events, being not have to go to the stuffy boardroom stuff, but being able to go participate in the fun stuff, the cruises, that kind of stuff. So it's always a cool little process. So we have some really cool presenters coming out this year. What makes a good presenter, and what are you looking forward to seeing at the event?
I can jump in on this one if you want, Alan.
You bet.
When we put the curriculum together, we all looked at it. Now, my background started in asset management, so I was with some of the bigger firms as a wholesaler and a divisional, right? So I'm on the sponsorship side, and then building and running an RIA on the other side. So what I wanted to grab out of it was twofold, not just for the attendees to it. I wanted them to grab something unique, something that is not just a slide deck that someone goes through from 1 to number 18, right? And they're actually, most of the attendees are looking for the coffee station within 3 slides within it starts out. So it was really unique type of deliverables. We have with Gene Goldman of Cetera, who I've been a friend with since we were both 21 years old. Probably, if you turn your TV on today, you'll see him on MSNBC or whatever it may be. He's just a great deliverable for a chief investment officer. Usually, you see CIO, you're like, this is where I'm going to I'm going to go get another bagel. And you leave the room. With Gene, it's very interactive. It's very today. It is something you will take 2 or 3 sound bites and go back and utilize. And that's what we heard last year when we had him out there. We even have an attorney speaking on things to look for, right? In this whole compliance living environment that's out there, that's changing by the minute. That you'll be able to grab 1 or 2 sound bites from. It's a local attorney that's doing it, and Gary, who's on our board as well, is doing the panel discussion on it, and he's on the board of FINRA Ethics. So it is really a different environment, other than let me get up and tell you how great I am, so you can then talk to me later and tell me how great I am. Right? That's the furthest from what we're trying to do. It's really, as I said before, grab that sound bite and grab those 1 or 2 nuggets and be able to go back and implement immediately for it as well.
Your thoughts?
I would add to Paul's comments about not having slide decks that are 18 to 20 and just reading bullet points, and that doesn't happen. But I would also offer simplicity is the key here. You're speaking in front of a very experienced group of folks, and they're looking to sharpen the axe. Okay, so while they're doing that, you ought to be telling them why they should be listening to what you have to share. What does it solve? You're offering them potential solutions. So you've got the why and the where. They already know the what. The what is them. The who is them. But you're helping them with a couple of items, a couple of slides. Why should they be listening to what you're presenting? What are you sharing with them? And how will it impact the client families that they're serving? And when you give them that broader overview and trying to narrow it to a very select segment of the American marketplace, you make them better able to take what you're presenting and sharing, Jeremy, Paul, and enabling them to put it in their own words and have that candid, confidential conversation with their client families or their prospective client families.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Jeremy, to build off of that, we review the decks that they send in. So we'll actually tell them, no, you can't, this isn't a focus, right? This is too much of a product pitch. This is too much focused on things that someone's not going to pull away. So I don't know an exhibit or a conference that actually rolls up their sleeves and looks at each presentation. So we know not only are they getting the best bang for their buck as a deliverable, but the people who are in attendance are walking away and not snoozing away. That's the big takeaway from what we're doing, and it's different from others, in my opinion.
That is totally different from most organizations. Because again, most events I've been to, it's 10 minutes of information, 50 minutes of fluff and sales. And I'm looking forward to this event because I've been traveling more and more the last couple of years, going to different events, and I missed it last year, being in the Biltmore. And I'm sorry I missed that event. But Orlando, I am not going to miss. It's going to be a tremendous event. And, being able to connect with the different speakers, the different exhibitors, all the people that are attending, the board members, it's going to be a phenomenal thing. So what's the importance of having exhibitors to connect with in these events?
I'll start with that one, Paul. I have made a concerted effort to promote our organization to potential exhibitors, sponsors, presenters that aren't normally participating in our event. For example, we've had very few insurance companies who are makers of products that are solutions that all of us use, whatever our disciplines are. They have not been at our event. So I'm presenting to them a unique opportunity to be the first in a specific product category where they are a leader. They may say, well, we make all kinds of boats. I only want to hear about your fishing boat. Focus on that to our group and tell them why it's really neat, as a crude example. But I think from last year's effort and building on that, Paul and the team are getting the right kind of new faces to join. And it's a new opportunity for them to see what people really want to hear from them, not just what they've got, but what we really like to hear from them. And that, knowing that in advance, just makes their whole presentation and participation significantly different, Jeremy.
Yeah, Alan, you're spot on. And as I mentioned, coming from both sides of the equation, someone that sponsored, these events at Schwab Conference and Future Proof and some of the bigger ones that are out there. And then now participating in these, the biggest focus for us is not monetary, right? These other functions, it's a monetary capitalization, right? How can we make a profit off of it? We are not making a profit off of this. Trust me, it is the last thing. For what it would cost a sponsor to attend our event is an office dinner, right? Or a holiday party that's how low. I mean, I've had more people say, are you sure that's all the cost is? I said, I know. And you're so used to not, people holding you ransom. Not only do you get a booth, but you get a 40-minute speaking spot. And then you also get to, participate in a webinar if you want for that in that year. That is something that would cost you ridiculous amounts of money at some of these others, right? And then the attendees, more importantly, it's really covering their costs. It's covering what it would cost us to put it on. There's zero profitability out of this for us, zero. And that's how we wanted to build it. We wanted to build it so it was informative. It's something people could come back to, and they actually got something from it that wasn't a ransom note attached to it. That's sort of the difference of how we built it. So Alan, you're spot on with that.
Yeah. So speaking about the cost of the event, attendees can register for this event on the IARFC website under events. We have early bird pricing for members set at $400 right now. We have non-member early bird pricing of $500 for non-members. Those are good through January 31st. So guys, this event, April 23rd through 25th, there's a welcome on the 22nd in Orlando. 2 days of exhibitors, presentations, panel discussions, the financial planning competition, networking, ethics program, and it also helps us get our CE credits for the IARFC, correct?
Yeah,
absolutely.
So if you guys are struggling to get your 40 hours a year of your CE, you're going to get almost all of it in 2 days. We talk about being, the benefits of in-person events as, networking, all this stuff. But if you can pull that with other benefits like CE credits. I'm not talking state CE credits, but these CEUs through the organization you need to have. So this, these events, when you have the opportunity to attend these events, it's always a great thing. So let me ask you, we'll ask one final question. We'll wrap up for today. What would you say to encourage financial pros to attend this event?
I'll go first if I may, Paul.
Sure, absolutely.
You're not going to find any other professional organizational event that encapsulates everything we've discussed and all inclusive travel, hotel stay, participation in the event is under $1,500 all in. All in. People will spend more than that going to Orlando just to get there to take the kids. Well, here they get to do that too. So maybe I'm making it seem a bit too elementary, but if you want to wrap the ability to see for the first time class act speakers talking to you about what you ought to be considering in your conversations with your families back home, meeting with next generation students who are very soon to become RFAs, registered financial associates, right? And they're already hired because they're that good, and they're speaking in front of us to show how much they've really learned to get started in our industry. The CE opportunity. I'll tell you one other, and I'm hoping we're able to get him to participate, but Mr. Ziani helps us look best dressed, Paul. And I want a sport coat, so I'm telling you firsthand, there's an opportunity to come away looking better than you showed up.
Alan, you checked all the boxes off, no question. And Mr. Ziani is participating. What I thought was great last year is one of the college students actually won one of the suits in the raffle. So if you could just imagine, and he didn't win the event, but he walked away with a pretty nice. He looked pretty good for his interview wherever he was going, right? on that process. So that's the part that we bring into this event. It's just different than others, right? It's much different. Is it perfect? No. Will it be? You betcha it will be. I mean, we've been doing this where we meet once a week for a year to make sure we're doing this, and we want feedback from our members, and we want the deliverable to be designed around the members. And that's what it is. It's not designed around the sponsors only. And that's how most are. So I think what we're trying to provide is much more than most. I think our consideration for the deliverables that are taking place and what you'll get away is looked at much more than most. And as Alan talked about, the amount of boxes that are checked off on this venue, right? The Biltmore was great, hard to get to, costly. We listened to people. We moved it to someplace that was even better, in easier access and lower airfare. So it's all about providing the members a better outcome and providing them a better opportunity to see some of the things that they've never had a chance to look at. Listen, let's face it, running a practice isn't easy. Running a business isn't easy. So if we can help lift a little bit and get some things in front of you so you can make those decisions better, you can become a better business, you can become a better advisor, then that's what we're here for. That's our deliverable, and that's going to be our deliverable going forward. And you're going to hear a lot more about what at least the U.S. market is going to start delivering. We're meeting next week to whiteboard the whole outcome of what we're going to look like, in 2025 and 2026. So I'm excited about this opportunity, not just this forum, but our members. I'm excited about what the members are going to get out of it, right, going forward. And this is just a snippet of what you're going to get. And I'm really, really looking forward to it. And your families will too. Trust me, this is a trip that your families will be like, we're so glad we went on it. Even though we may not have seen you all the time, that might be part of the reason why they enjoyed going on the trip. Who knows? But it could be a bang for the buck on both sides of it. So I would encourage attending this. And I can't wait till April. The snow here on the ground, I really can't wait till April, especially for that conference.
No, the RFC has done a great job, really promoting education ethics to the community of advisors out there. from the virtual summits we do in September to the annual summit we do in April, I think Orlando this year. So guys, being part of the organization is a huge benefit for everybody. The more you learn, the more you can help your families, you service, and everything else. So, come down, IARFC Financial Forum, April 23rd to the 25th, Orlando, Florida. 2.5 days of just awesome fun with exhibitors, presentations, panel discussions, the planning competition, networking, ethics programs, continuing education. If you're a member, it's $400. It's I've spent more on stationery.
Your cable bill's more.
Cable bill's more. Your internet bill's more. So for early bird pricing, $4 for members, $500 for non-members. Do it through the 31st of January. Guys, thanks for coming out and sitting with me today. With 20 minutes of just of great information. Thank you guys for coming out. I look forward to meeting you both face to face at the conference this year. And you guys who are watching this video, come down and see us. It's going to be fun. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to be invigorating to your business. It's going to help you grow. Again, thank you guys. I hope everybody makes it a great day.
Keep the faith.
You as well. Take
Keep
care.
the faith.